The MotoGP world is holding its breath. The Mugello circuit, known for its fast corners and deadly straightaways, will witness the making of potential racing history. Marc Marquez, a modern racing icon, is one step away from setting a record no one has ever achieved. But standing in his way is the defending champion, Pecco Bagnaia, who is determined not to let his homeland become a stage for his rival's glory. What record will Marquez break? Or will Bagnaia destroy it in front of his home crowd? Let's discuss it, and don't forget to subscribe. Since the beginning of the 2025 season, Marquez has proven one important thing. He's not finished yet. In fact, the latest version of a true champion has emerged, hungrier, sharper, and more perfect than before. With Ducati Lenovo, Marquez has adapted not only to the characteristics of the notoriously difficult-to-tame Desmosedici motorbike, but also made it his main weapon to dominate his opponents. All doubts about his ability to adapt and all the naysayers who doubted his comeback have now been completely silenced. Marquez showed the world that when incredible talent meets the best machine on the grid, the result is absolute dominance. Last week in Aragon, Marquez put on a flawless performance. He swept the sprint race and main race in his signature style, full of control and aggression. He also recorded the 99th pole position of his Grand Prix career, a feat achieved by only a handful of legends. As the weekend at Mugello approaches, all eyes are on him. If Marquez is the fastest qualifier again, he will officially break the record of 100 pole positions. Long considered a nearly impossible feat, this milestone will cement his place not just as one of the best, but perhaps the greatest of all time. To truly understand the magnitude of this achievement, we must examine the undeniable numbers that are forming a mosaic of motorcycle racing immortality. 8-time world champion Marc Marquez has collected a total of 71 pole positions in the premier MotoGP class, 14 in the 250 cubic centimeters class, and 14 in the 125 cubic centimeters class. These extraordinary numbers, when added together, total 99 pole positions, a milestone never reached by any active rider and nearly impossible to approach. For comparison, even legendary riders like Valentino Rossi, synonymous with MotoGP greatness, have only recorded 65 pole positions throughout their careers. Jorge Lorenzo, Marquez's fierce rival during the 2010s golden era, ended his career with 69 poles in all classes. Dani Pedrosa, only 49. All of these big names have now become part of history. They have retired and given the stage to the next generation. However, Marquez stands out as the only giant still actively competing on the track while carrying the legacy of the past and creating new history. He's not just another rider. He's a symbol of strength, consistency, and determination that transcends generations. After a disappointing start to the season and living in the shadow of Marquez's greatness, Pecco Bagnaia now comes to Mugello with a different demeanor. This isn't just another race, it's his homeland and home circuit, where history and national pride meet on the asphalt. Most importantly, it's time to rise. It's time to fight. In Aragon, signs of a comeback began to emerge. Pecco finished behind Marquez, but only by 3 seconds, a small margin considering Marquez's dominance this season. More significant, however, was the way Bagnaia read the race. He made no excuses. There were no technical excuses. Instead, he acknowledged that he had rediscovered something he had lost: confidence. The turning point: a change in the braking system. Everything changed since then. The feeling came back. "I felt like myself again," said Bagnaia, his eyes full of determination. His words sound simple, but they are profound. A true champion knows when he has lost himself and, more importantly, knows how to find himself again. This time, however, Pecco is not alone. All of Italy is united behind him. Thousands of tifosi will flood the Mugello grandstands, carrying the yellow VR46 flag, which will fly majestically on the hill. They will chant his name at every turn and emit waves of energy that could shake anyone unprepared for them. Mugello will turn into a sea of red, white, and green, not just a symbol of nationalism, but also a statement. Pecco is not finished yet. But there is one more thing that will heat up the atmosphere, a shocking rumor accompanying this weekend. Valentino Rossi, Bagnaia's mentor, icon, and spiritual protector, reportedly promised a $100,000 personal bonus if Pecco beats Marquez at Mugello. There has been no official confirmation from Rossi or VR46 Racing, but news of this offer has quickly spread through the paddock. The atmosphere is tense. Journalists are speculating and analysts are calculating. Even MotoGP veteran Matt Oxley weighed in. "It may not be a contract clause," he said with a smile, "but it fits the spirit of the VR46 family. They always know how to light a fire when it's needed most." Pecco came to Mugello as more than just a Ducati rider. He came as a symbol of hope, an Italian sun fighting to counter the newcomer's dominance. Amid the roar of thousands of tifosi, one thing was certain: the fight was not over. In fact, it had only just begun. Interestingly, the fiercest battle of the season did not take place between two different manufacturers but within one garage, the Ducati garage. Marc Marquez and Francesco Bagnaia, two extraordinarily talented riders, are now the two spearheads of the Ducati Lenovo team. However, despite wearing the same uniform, they have very different philosophies and missions. Marquez is a living MotoGP legend, a figure chasing history and setting record after record to prove that he is not finished and is perhaps even sharper than before. Meanwhile, Bagnaia is the defending champion and rightful heir to the Ducati throne, a national hero who wants to maintain the glory he has built over the past 2 seasons. Marc Marquez's new crew chief, Marco Rigamonti, praised the Cervera rider's work ethic. Marc is the perfect combination of professionalism and humanity. He is serious when he needs to be but knows when to laugh. "That is what keeps the positive energy in the team," Rigamonti said. In a short time, Marquez has become one with the Desmosedici GP25 and Ducati's work rhythm, as if he were destined to be part of the team. But don't forget Bagnaia. He is more than just a racer. He is a symbol of Italian pride. Born and raised in Italy, he trained at Valentino Rossi's VR46 Academy and is now the new face of the country's ambition for MotoGP supremacy. His victory at Mugello was not just an act of revenge for Marquez's dominance in the last few series. It was a loud and firm statement that the Marquez era may have begun, but Bagnaia won't give up without a fight. Ducati is now at a crossroads: celebrate its double domination or risk an internal conflict that could determine the course of MotoGP's new history. History is waiting to be made at Mugello. This legendary circuit in the heart of Italy could witness an unforgettable moment in MotoGP history. If Marquez scores the 100th pole position of his career, he will be the first rider ever to reach that milestone. It's an achievement that will be remembered not only in the statistics but also as one that will carve his name as an eternal icon in the modern era of this sport. On the other hand, however, Pecco Bagnaia is ready to stand in the way of history. If he can thwart Marquez, especially in the main race, it won't just delay the record. It could be a dramatic turning point in the 2025 title race. Although there are 14 races left and the gap is 93 points, in the world of MotoGP, anything can happen in an instant. Moreover, on home turf in front of a sea of red-clad tifosi, Pecco has even more reason to be fierce. Under the scorching Italian sun, with the roar of engines breaking the sky and the Mugello grandstands shaking the earth with their roar, one question echoes loudly around the world. Will Marquez set a historic record of 100 pole positions at the iconic Mugello circuit? Or will Bagnaia turn the season around and stop the living legend's progress on his home turf? Share your thoughts below.